Welcome back, folks, to our finale review of Daredevil Born Again, Season 1. With me, as always, is my good friend Kev on this side of me. Kev, how we doing tonight, buddy?
Hello, everyone. Well, it will be a bit of a mixed bag, I think, tonight, James. On the one hand, we do have a few moments of maybe disappointment to discuss with Daredevil Born Again, but however, at least for our benefit, you and I specifically, there are also several instances where we get to say, we told you so. So make sure you like and subscribe and let us know your thoughts about Daredevil Born Again in the comments below. We're going to get through everything in this episode, probably talk about the season as a whole, as well as our expectations for season 2. So if you've missed any of our previous discussions, go check them out. We've got some one-off episodes in the videos tab, but other than that, we've talked about this on our live show, some bonus live shows. So be sure to check that out if you missed it all. But I'm ready. I have a lot of thoughts about this one, James. How about yourself?
I do too. I have a lot of thoughts. And Kev, I think the first I told you so is the main one in that this doesn't seem like the finale of season 1.
Yeah.
This seems like a mid-season finale. The original run of Daredevil Born Again, before bringing on the new producers, execs, or writers, everything, was an 18-episode run. This feels like a mid-season finale.
Yeah,
correct
100%.
me if I'm wrong or you feel any other way. Like that, to me, I came out of like, this is a mid-season finale, and we're supposed to be starting back in a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever,
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, and I believe that's what we discussed last week. I think we even used Breaking Bad, the final season of Breaking Bad, as our reference point. And that is exactly how the end of this season felt to me. And we'll get into the specific points of contention, I suppose. But yeah, generally speaking, it just was not a fulfilling finale.
Nope.
It's one thing to end on a cliffhanger. It's another thing to just end at a spot that feels like you only told half a story. I think the best multi-part stories that have points in their continuation that if you just watched part 1 on its own, you could still feel like you got something out of it, other than it being required viewing for season 2. And for me, I don't know that this season did enough to warrant it being a full season of a TV show, James. I think there were a lot of things that could have been done differently. Of course, we have to acknowledge how much of the show was already filmed, but I will stand on this hill, that being, if it was so bad that you had to bring in new showrunners, why was any of the previously recorded material something you felt married to? If it was that bad, why was it all on the table to be upgraded? And there was a lot that could have been done differently to use the same elements that they had, i.e. Muse. Muse probably maybe the biggest example here of you could have done so much more.
Misused the character so much, so badly.
Absolutely. I think the whole Punisher crew was misused. The Punisher himself was misused. And again, I don't know that we needed 9 episodes of Daredevil trying to find himself. You'll know a little bit better than me, James. Did we not? This kind of felt like a WandaVision situation. WandaVision and then Doctor Strange, where it's like, oh yeah, she kind of already went through this story arc, didn't she?
And here we go again. It's a movie now. Yeah. Season 3, the postseason, the season after the Defenders, is when Daredevil gets crushed by a bit, like gets escaped from the bottom of a crushed building and is completely broken and rebuilds himself completely. And it's done much better. So to then turn around, have Foggy die right away, and then have to rebuild again you're treading the same ground, and you also didn't do it as good.
Yeah.
To me, I said it last week when we talked about this. To me, it felt like they hodgepodge 2 shows storylines together, right? And this is with bringing all the reshoots and rewrites, etc. on like Karen just shows up this episode. And oh, by the way, she called the Punisher to keep him safe.
And oh, by the way, they might be banging.
Sure looks like they have a thing, right?
Right. He shaved. I mean, that
he
was very clear.
To her heart. Yeah, he listens to her heart, and it's beat. And he shaves.
And Daredevil shaved after shave.
Yeah,
did that for Karen. He listens to their heartbeats. Like it very weird that Karen would be turned on by the Punisher too. Like I don't know if that tracks.
She's a woman of the law. Like she's not. She news reporter first, but it just felt like, so you get Karen Foggy early, you get Karen late, you get Punisher early, you get him late, you get Bullseye early, get him late, and oh, by the way, the middle is Muse.
The middle is Muse, barely. Right? There's one real episode of Muse. By the time,
yeah,
I think you find out that
he's got the railroad
arch. Finds out about him in the same. It was very Walking Dead.
He was dead next episode. That? Yeah.
Yep. Like, oh, hey, all of a sudden this Muse character is very important. We're gonna kill him now. Just not great. To go back to the Karen thing, she comes back, and I guess I get it. Daredevil did take a bullet, but none of what separated them got resolved. They barely discussed it. But yet she's here. She's back. At one point, he's like, "Will you be my eyes?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course." It's like, bro, what do you mean? Yeah, of course. The last time we saw you, you couldn't even have a conversation with each other.
And now, because you take a bullet, like she knew he was Daredevil, like nothing's changed. Like he's been this. It's cheap.
I don't know. It felt like
cheap and easy, which is also some other things I'm gonna say about this, like speed run. Yeah, 100%. I think just even like so. For you open with the confirmation that Vanessa Fisk hired Bullseye, right? Okay, and you see them. He's in a mental facility, like he's in prison. He's trying to. They're drugging him up, trying to help him. I put that in quotations. However you feel about that, it's part of society.
He got Ludovico'd.
Yeah, and then he's essentially forced to be. She forces him to become her hitman for hire, right? I think there's a pretty fucking cool story there. If you fucking give it more than 5 minutes.
True.
Right? Like, I think there actually is some substance to that story. However, it's 5 minutes. It feels, and I don't remember if the Bullseye character was also brought back in with the reshoots or if he was on before. I can't remember exactly. It's a big storyline. That's how Foggy got killed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he could have been just an add-in because I can't
remember.
He does appear in the middle of the sandwich.
He's in episode 1.
Scenes that you could
maybe 2 because they put him in jail. Yeah, he's in courtroom. And then the last 2 episodes, is that right? Because then it's the episode where they put him in Gen Pop. They open episode 8 with it, I think. And then this one.
Okay, so maybe it was.
Yeah,
and they definitely added a scene or 2 within. He
might have snuck in and around. He wasn't
those completely 6 base episodes in exactly as they were. So they may have been.
There's I don't know how you feel about it, but I think there's a pretty cool story. Like Foggy died. He killed Foggy. You find out, you come all the way around that Vanessa Fisk hired him, and when she was in charge while Kingpin was out. So it's a pretty big storyline that is pretty well done, I think, like getting to that point of Daredevil freaking out. But then I think there's a hell of a flashback where you have more time or just more time spent. How did she manipulate him into thinking this was his only option? Like he's fucked. He's in jail. Like he's on meds. He's fucked up. You can tell. But she gets it. Like he fucking signs his fucking signature like a fucking straight marker. Like his arm. He's like limp. Like he's on so many drugs. I think there's a cool story there to focus more on that because you get a ton of more of him in season 3. Like he's the right hand man to those guys. Fisk in season 3, dude, he's a lot of seasons. He's an and that's he now has superpowers, right? Regenerative stuff, like what, like they're adding whatever. It's fine. Like I don't really care too much about altering it a little bit to fit. But his whole like role is like he's just a badass motherfucker. He is a bad fucking cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, and just a psychopath. I mean, in
He's
the
a
comics, at
psychopath.
one
Yeah.
point, he gets hired to assassinate Frank Castle, and this sicko kidnaps a family. He kills the dad first, and then kidnaps the wife and children, and basically has them go through what he reenacts Punisher's tragedy that created him, so that he could, better understand the Punisher. But that wasn't even really
Yeah.
that. He's just a
Mhm.
psycho. He's just a nut. So he kidnaps
He's just
this
a crazy
family,
man. Yeah.
holds them at gunpoint, and then has some of Kingpin's goons murder them in front of his eyes, all as a prerequisite for his job of killing the Punisher. Like, he is an
Mhm.
absolute loon. He's a nut, and
Yep.
he's one of the most vicious. Like, we're talking Joker levels of a psychopath. Just, I think one of, I don't know if I want to say underrated or underappreciated, because I don't know what everybody reads. For all I know, I could be
Mhm.
preaching to the choir here about
Yep.
how awesome Bullseye is. But this to me was a character that had so much to offer, that really could have just been the main foil again. And like you said, we could have
You could have shown
had
that. You could
some
have shown
more of
that
the
breaking.
mystery being laid out, instead
Yeah.
of just a one little
Bang.
moment happens. Oh, I'm meeting with Josie, and she mentions that Foggy had some
Mhm.
O'Melvenies. Like at least like they set it up. I don't want to say they didn't set it up. Like, they even had him pour a glass of it for Heather in his apartment. Like,
Yep. It's the
it was
middle
very
part.
Chekhov's gun. Like, we knew it was coming, but like, you could have, it would have been more fulfilling if I had been able to solve that mystery along the way with Daredevil,
It's
not
just like
have
you
it been
talk about,
like,
like, they
oh,
didn't
hey,
need
here's that thing. Remember we mentioned
they
O'Melvenies?
didn't
Here.
need to use the middle stuff just is irrelevant, right? Like, the
It
Muse
was
stuff
not done well. I would
the Muse
say,
stuff,
like,
what does the Muse stuff doesn't do much.
I think the intention for it was to assert how the people of New York would fall for Mayor Fisk's grift. But we talked about that in a
Yeah.
previous episode. That wasn't done well either. Show us more vigilantes.
Mhm.
It would take
Yeah.
more than just three dudes being crazy in New York, of all places,
Yeah.
for a city like New York to accept martial law over. And
Yeah.
so they could have shown us that. They could have shown us more about, I think they were very mysterious about Vanessa's operations. They kind of teased it out. They had some things happen.
Yeah.
Again, there's a universe where they take these elements that they use for these first 9 episodes, remove some of it, and maybe spread it out, and it could have
Water it a
been the
little
whole
more.
18. Could have been the whole 18 episodes. Could have been a full season showing us how Foggy was
Mhm.
murdered, how it was part of a bigger plan. You could have shown us a little more about Bullseye's fall, like
Maybe
you
Foggy
said, like
doesn't get
how.
fucking shot down in the first 5 minutes of the fucking reunion season. That gives me almost, Kev, like, to connect to our other show, Han Shot First View, it gives me episode 7 vibes where they're like, oh, we can finally bring Han, Luke, and Leia back together. And oh, by the way, we're not. This one they did just 5 minutes in, they killed him. Like, I've never
Yeah,
put that
they did
little
it
bit together.
just
Guess what
to.
company fucking owns Star Wars, guys?
It's like you're taking the wrong notes away. Like, I get it. They watched this. Kevin
Mhm.
Feige or somebody sat down and said, "Woof! All right, this
Terrible.
6 not great." But why you would think horseshoeing one episode in front of that suddenly makes it better? Like,
Yeah.
oh man, they killed Foggy off screen. It wasn't that they killed him off screen that should have been your bad takeaway. It should have been that it
Was not
just, like,
good.
doing it immediately in episode 1 isn't that much better. Like, you're bringing
Mhm.
him back just to kill him off, to have him not there. I don't think you paid enough attention to the feedback. It
Yeah.
wasn't that people are like, oh, it's terrible that he died off screen. It was like, no, it's terrible that we're just starting a new season without these characters that have been
That
so
are
integral to the show. And
correct,
it doesn't
yes.
matter if you just can't do that in episode 1. I think it has to feel earned. I think if they
Mhm.
were, obviously in hindsight, so it's not like they could have done this, but if he didn't die at the end of season 3, he shouldn't be dying in episode 1 of season
Mm.
4, especially
After
considering
X
the
amount of
unique
years off.
circumstance, right? Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly. It's
like,
been
the
years
show was
off. It's on a new
dead.
platform. you're trying to bring old fans and get new ones. So like, why would you kill off
You don't need the shock
Foggy
value.
right away at the beginning? You don't need exactly.
You don't need shock value in episode 1 because guess what? You fucking back. It is the shock value. The show's fucking back. Nobody ever fucking expected the show to be back. It just, I agree with you. Like if the content in the middle, like the content they filmed prior to everything getting redone was so bad, why did they use any of it?
Yeah.
Because I struggle to see in the middle, what did Muse provide? Like, I'm really like, I guess like the one thing I come out of it is he pushed Daredevil's girlfriend to Fisk. She's now going to work for Fisk, which I think is like, I don't think that's quite the earned
also
ending
feels
for her. Like
an unearned. Yep.
Like I can understand why you would get there. It kind of reminds me of like the end of Game of Thrones where Daenerys Targaryen ends up destroying the whole realm. Spoilers, if you've seen the show that came out fucking 10 years ago at this point. And they're like, it seemed like the end she was always going to get to, but they rushed it and got there without earning it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, she went from
arguing with Matt in the fucking hospital.
Yeah, she's just a talented therapist, right? She good enough to work for the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Things went south with Muse, and then she, again, because we talked about this too earlier in the season, she's begging Matt to get her interviews with some of these masked vigilantes, and in that moment, it was not delivered in a way where she felt like they were all sickos and Daredevil was some a dirt bag. And so
what's the quote she uses? It's like, what'd she say? They're just two.
I can't remember, but
young adults, hyper testosterone, acting crazy in suits, right? Which doesn't line up at all because I don't know. Daredevil saved your fucking life after Muse tried to kill you.
Yeah, and Ian, we talked about that. Her response didn't track with what happened. I use the example of the young white tiger. If that character had died as a result of Daredevil being too focused on beating up Muse, you would have had a leg to stand on. But throughout the whole time, in both scenarios, he makes trying to save the victim a priority. Yes, he gets a little aggressive and beats Muse up, but she ends up being the one that kills him, right? Like if she didn't shoot Daredevil, I thought but then the next day they're the same guy. They're both problematic. So if that was really how you felt, how come only one of them got a bullet?
I also think, like, don't you think they got in that argument and she's saying all that stuff? I thought I thought Matt Murdock acted a little out of character. And oh, by the way, I think it's probably time to say it. Just tell her. Like, you took a bullet to save Fisk. He knows who you are. Vanessa Fisk knows who you are. Like, his people know who you are. I think it's probably time you tell your fucking girlfriend, hey, by the way, I'm fucking Daredevil, and you cannot be around this guy because he's trying to kill me.
Yeah, well, the problem is that he kind of blew that, I think, because of her response when she's shit talking Daredevil earlier in the episode, like, for whatever reason he just. But that's been his whole thing, and that's
again,
you're right. There's a comic run, Daredevil, Born Again. The comic book run shows it does, I think, a much better job of showing that descent into madness and having Matt Murdock really truly lose his shit and get a little feral. And I don't think the show did it. And to get back to what we were talking about with Vanessa, it's just very dumb. Like, he's like, I'm going to make you our mental health czar, which is like a made up position anyway, isn't it? Like, that seems made up. And why would she take it? All of a sudden, you almost die being a therapist. And so you're like, I'll just take
you almost die job. And your boyfriend gets shot all in the span of a few days, probably. So then you're going to go work for
protecting the mayor. By the way, the mayor, you were almost killed. If you're Heather, you got to be looking at this. You were almost killed by a nut. And then at a ball, you were close to the mayor and almost died. So it's not like you're all of a sudden going to be safer working directly for the guy. Someone just tried to shoot. So I don't know. And he had declared martial law. It just sort of, it just felt like one of those moments where it happened because the script writer said it needed to happen.
Yep.
And in order to get all the pieces on the chessboard where we want them, that's just what we're going to have to do. So who cares if it makes sense? It's not like we've had 9 hours to set this up.
Yep.
You know, what do you guys want from
the martial law thing caught me off guard. Like I paused, I was like, did I miss something completely? The martial law thing was just an abrupt, like, we got to get to this point. So here we go. We're going to blame Daredevil for being crazy. We're shutting the city down. That was just.
Yeah, again, the same company that is trotting out 48 different superheroes for their next movie can't spare 3 or 4 of them to put on screen so that you could actually see how the citizens of New York might fall for the mayor's grift. No, it's just like, oh, we saw one footage
like put
of
some of those,
and then Muse is a killer, and then we mentioned
Spider-Man. We actually we
there's
see
so many New York heroes.
We see plenty of footage of swordsmen as not swordsmen, as just a rich guy. Not a ton. We see him in 2 scenes, I think, but it's like, I think you see him right at the very beginning where BB-8's like her little found footage stuff they're showing. It's just, you didn't get there. You didn't earn it. Like, and you had such it's easy opportunity. Like, blame it on Bullseye. Like, say he's a man. Like, put him in a mask. Then they're saying he's a mask vigilante. Like, there's all kind. Like you said, you just need to show it. Just show it. But instead,
if it's really happening, show it. And again, why wouldn't you? When that's the part. Is it not
show,
only?
Don't tell. Kev loves this.
Yeah, not only would it be the first tenet of storytelling, show don't tell, but also you're an IP that, as we have pointed out time and time again, really seems to highly value these cameo moments, these cool new character, new action figure to sell, new Marvel rival skin to trot out there. And here you have one of the rare opportunities where it won't feel forced in. It won't feel like you're doing it just to do it. It would actually serve the story and make it better, which I think is why that's what we have. We have conflicting interests here. If it's not going to help the story, fine, let's cram as many action figures into this thing as we can. But as soon as it would actually be logical and it would make sense and might make your story better, now, no, we'll just say there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah. It's
why
disappointing is what it is. So let's take it for what it is, right? We get the Punisher coming back, which also, so you get the Punisher and Karen coming back, which lends into the theory that they just bookended them, right? And the sandwich together theory. And Karen Page calls the Punisher to warn him, whatever. Like, okay, I'm just going to go with it. It's pretty bad.
How'd she have his phone number too, by the way? Dude lives in a fallout shelter. He lives in a sewer underground, but Karen has apparently he has a cell phone too.
Yeah, has her cell phone number. And by the way, Karen Page and Daredevil ended on horrific terms, and it fixed nothing in their relationship of why they're mad at each other. But he took a bullet, so she freaked out. And by the way, he's been Daredevil and she's known it for multiple seasons, so she knows the fucking lifestyle. Whatever. Again, just trying to believe it. Just trying to believe it. Okay, trying to get something good here, right?
Last time she saw him, he looked like a literal pincushion. At least last time she saw him as Daredevil. But yeah, a shorter gunshot makes sense. You'd find an unreachable Frank Castle.
Okay. Let's go with the Punisher scene, the fight scene again. Unfortunate, we got one awesome fight scene in episode 1, and then really didn't get shit again. They started off with a bang. That hallway scene's awesome. I thought the scene was pretty well done.
In the apartment,
in the apartment. All things aside, story wise, how we got there, those two together is really fun. The guy that plays Frank Castle, I can't even think of his name right now. He loves that. He's fucking awesome in that role. He's really good.
He's kind of just playing Shane again.
He really is just playing the after effect. This finally get to be Shane again and not get run off the show. Like, which if you've not seen The Walking Dead, then you don't care. But
even gets he calls him Red, which obviously is from the, but it's almost like it's close enough to Rick where you're just like, dude, he's just Shane. Like, but no, he that part was good. The other scene where it's just Punisher taking out some of the cops is less good, but I know that you also mentioned that we have to discuss the post-credit scene
So let's talk about
and unpack how they.
So
I'm sorry, the theme of the day is either underuse. If they didn't underuse a character
they
gang, they
misused it.
completely misused the character.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, so let's start with they survive the apartment getting blown up. He's done. He's out. Karen shows up. He's not. I'm out. This isn't my fight, right? Then he goes. I can't remember why. Why does he goes to the place? He goes.
he
To
has their walkie-talkie or
That's
something.
right. Yeah. So he goes to their
stole
place.
walkie-talkie, so he knows that
He goes.
shit's about to go down. So he's gonna
He
go hunt
walks.
for them.
He walks into literal Fort Knox. Actually, Fort Knox. Period. Like really is. And in something the Punisher would really do, like, yeah, but he also wouldn't just do it as dumb as he did it, and so he gets caught, right? Like, whatever. So we get him and the fake the Daredevil cult, the worshippers, right?
The Punisher.
They're all the Punisher worshippers. Yeah, sorry, I said Daredevil. He goes there, right? Got his fanboys. Another scene just misdone.
You think you know my pain?
Yeah, he doesn't want to take a second to explain it, right? He also found out these guys are the ones that shot White Tiger. We found that out, and that guy gets killed. So you get the douchebag cop from the first episode, or maybe not the first, but early, and it's just like, this is a bad scene too. And what could have been a really cool scene of him explaining himself, right? Like, I get it's not what he does. You don't know my pain. A little bit explain, and maybe they just let him go, right? Then he's free, right?
Yeah,
Then he let him go, right?
Him getting caught is dumb. I agree with you there. Them having that conversation after he killed as many cops as he did, also dumb. It doesn't track with any of their motivations as characters, including the guy who shot White Tiger. What does he say to Daredevil? I stood with mine. I'll go down easy or whatever. Basically saying, I had my fellow officers back. And then 5 minutes later, we see the leader of the douchebag officers saying, "Hey, Frank, you killed half my team, but it'd be an honor to serve with you." Like, what? Like, how does that?
Yeah.
Did you read your own script before you took it out to film?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make sense? The fact that their whole thing is looking after each other. I can understand they're being fanboys. Also, by the way, the biggest fanboy of them all, you just fucking blew up. So maybe if it were that character, again, it might have tracked a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The guy talking to him is not the guy who painstakingly carved a Punisher logo into individual bullet casings, which is so asinine and time-consuming that it's one of the most ridiculous aspects of the entire show, that anyone would do that, and that a bullet that they would find it. Like, the whole thing is way too convenient. Palpatine levels of convenience, just ridiculous and absurd. Yeah. But it's not even him. It's the other guy. It's Howell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, I'd be an honor to serve with you, Frank.
Yeah, what if they let that guy go?
20 of your closest friends. Are you really? So, yes,
it kind of makes a little sense if you let that guy go, and then he's the one here beat to shit, bloody as fuck, hands broken. But hey, you let me go. So Frank,
or just do it at a different point in time, I guess. Yeah. Do it before Frank has killed 20 of them.
Yeah,
because to me, it doesn't make. Once he starts killing a bunch of people.
Yep.
If that were the case, why didn't they try to get White Tiger on their side? He only killed one of his coworkers. Yeah. Punisher just killed a legion of them.
Yeah.
But I want. Let's be on the same team. Wait, what?
Yeah. Because
we watch your own show.
Yeah. Okay, past that, then we're going to jump to the post-credit scene that comes back since we're talking about it. Post-credit scene is just quite possibly the stupidest thing I've seen. Like,
it makes just take everything.
So dumb.
Said,
so
multiply
it
by 2 now, because then all of this makes it even more worthless.
Put Punisher in jail. All right, we didn't kill him, which is stunning. Whatever, we get there. Now you've got a guard watching him that goes to shake his fucking hand. Nobody was like, hey, don't fucking look at this guy or talk to this guy. Why is he not fucking gagged? Everything. Like, they've got him in chains, gag him like he can't talk. He motherfucking goes up and to shake his hand. They break his arm. Punisher's out. Guess what? The Punisher special's coming.
Nice to meet you, Anthony. You from New Jersey. Where again, and then, you watch some other programs, maybe some less curmudgeon centric programming where they would say, oh, how this was set up so well because because Punisher understood how much these guys idolize them because of Howell's talk. Like, no, why are they so dumb? Like,
yeah,
what?
like he just killed a shitload of these cops, right? And these are the guys watching them. They would never do that. They
He
would
just
never
called
do
you
that.
all clowns. Like,
Just
yeah,
made
he
fun
just
of y'all, etc. Would never do that. That was just a plot convenience thing, and it was just so sloppy and fucking lazy.
You know what's a better Punisher moment, James? For him to have survived his 1-on-20 against those cops,
Yeah,
maybe not killed all of them, but just done enough damage to escape just barely with his life. I don't know. Maybe there's even an explosion.
he's the
Maybe
Punisher. It wouldn't
he's
surprise
about to
us, right?
go. He's about to go down, but wouldn't you know it? Which they had ruined the opportunity to do this because they had just done a grenade scene. But again, it's the
Yep.
Punisher, one of the most well-equipped arsenals in all of comic books. It stands to reason that a guy like the Punisher would have a kill switch, would have something that says, "I'm not getting caught. I'm not going down to these fools." So if
Correct. Yeah.
they are taking me down, I'm taking as many of them out as I can. Once again, something that someone who knows the character of the Punisher would absolutely understand. And then you could have had him do something that leads them to maybe believe that he's dead. I mean, some of this is still cliche, to be fair, but I still would take it over what we got, which was a pointless arrest that lasts all of 4 minutes.
Yeah. And at least in that scenario, you're like, okay, it's the Punisher. Like you said, he's got the biggest arsenal in fucking all of comics. Sure, we can believe it, like, and be okay with it because that's him. This is just lazy fucking writing. It changes a whole, like, you go exactly back on something you just did just because you got a special coming. It's just like, why? Why do we, like, what was the point of all that?
Yeah, I don't get these post-credit scenes that do things like that. I think there was a Doctor Strange movie recently that had a similar moment where I'm just like, the movie just ended 5 minutes ago, right? And now
Yeah.
you're just throwing this other randomness at me. It doesn't make any sense because if any amount of time has passed, that's not portrayed very well just by having the credits roll and then showing him escape when we just saw him a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But why did you have him get caught then if he
In
was
the
just
first
going to
place.
escape? It makes no sense.
There's a whole different, if your Punisher special, which is rumored to be him against those cops, right? That's your Punisher special. It's pretty easy to do an after credit scene where he never got caught, right? He's back tending to his wounds in the hideout, right? And I don't know,
Well,
maybe a fucking call comes across and he hears something. He's like, "Fuck, here we go again." Or like he's loading up. It's easy. Like it's easy.
I'll dumb it down even more for him, James. Let's just say they stick with everything they had going and just don't add the post credit
Or don't
scene.
do it.
How bad would it be? A lot of stories, a lot of the difficulty in coming up with a story is getting people excited, having that hook early on, right? Like what's going to grab you and get you to stay? Well, let me ask you this, James. In a short run Punisher special, what would be a better 5-minute introduction to the skill set of the Punisher than to show him escape from prison? And then you could just do it at the beginning of his show. Like that's action, that's excitement,
As
that's
they're
dropping
walking him
you
down a
as the
hallway with,
viewer.
something, and yeah, absolutely. It's him.
Just have him escape. Show how good he is at escaping. Show that, like, you could
Yeah.
have just done it right there instead of 5 minutes after you showed him get captured.
5 minutes of that to open, him get out, flash the fucking Punisher logo, fucking new intro, whatever you do. Guess what? There's the beginning of your
And start your story. And you could have just done. You could have had it. You could
just
have had it both
just
ways.
done.
And
Just yeah, you could have left him technically caught, right? Like you said,
yeah,
walking,
I
like
mean, we would
you
still
open
give
with
a
him,
shit about the
but it's
cliffhanger,
better than
but
this.
sometimes the
So you have
cliffhanger
him
isn't
walking down a
necessarily what's
hallway to be
wrong.
put in a jail cell or something, and he fucking does some fucking crazy shit. Because that's not rocket. Like, just missed the mark. Just stupid. You had a bad scene that you completely erased with a worse scene.
You got a last name, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, yeah. You thought that last scene was bad. Wait till you get a load of this.
Yeah.
Old strategy.
Other things I want to talk about. I do want to say one thing I did like. I thought it was kind of clever was them figuring out what Wilson Fisk's true reasons were and how they figured it out. How it was really weird getting, again, I'm just skipping past like the comment, Karen, let me be my eyes for me as they go to look through Foggy's files, right, and figure out what was going on. Like, why don't we think of this before? But it was kind of cool with the realization of, oh shit, Fisk is trying to fucking create a military state on an area that's not covered by anything. Like, it's not in the United States territory. That's what he's doing in the port. Like, so there is a pretty cool storyline there that they did build up correctly throughout the show of trying to revitalize the port, etc. They're there all the time. And then it's like, oh shit, it's how they got to that military zone, and that's what they were doing. They were going to create a military city state there and fucking run, like, where they could do anything and get away with it.
Absolutely. And that
actually pretty cool. I like that.
100%. I will agree with that, because even going back to the early stages of the season when you had Luka making a play, it all started over some issues. It was all had to do with Red Hook, right? That was what started the issue. Somebody, Red Hook is supposed to be off limits, and he chose not to abide by that, and we all saw how that worked out for him. But yeah, that was what we've talked about this in previous situations, and maybe even earlier in this episode. But yeah, like, there is a way to do, what do they say? A good twist will have you saying, oh, I didn't see that coming. A great twist will have you saying, how did I not see it coming? And that is at least closer to the great side, because they do leave some breadcrumbs out there that upon a second viewing, you'll be like, oh yeah, here it was.
I don't think it's great, like you said, but it's pretty close. It's right there. Like, they did a really good job with that. I want to give them credit with that.
Yeah.
How they found out the Karen be my eyes. And then them talking about the punishment. I hated all that, because it just goes back to rush storylines and shit that wasn't earned, right? That's my thought on it.
Yes, and it was very convenient. Again, it just took the bartender doing and saying something. It also, once they reveal that there was a bigger plot to it, it kind of makes me wonder how a depressed and obsessed Matt Murdock was ever able to take his friend's murder at face value anyway, right? Like, they wave it away with one line essentially where he's like, well, you're Bullseye, you're a crazy son of a bitch, so anyone could have believed you were just trying to get revenge. And it's like, well, but dude, you've had a boner for Kingpin this whole time, and you knew that they worked together, and never. So it took the bartender mentioning that Foggy had it. You were also, again, I will remind you all that Matt Murdock was eavesdropping on his good friend Franklin Nelson in that first episode. He was telling Karen everything that Foggy was saying.
Yes, because his now partner. He was like, "Oh, he's hitting on her. Let's listen in." Yeah,
yeah. So he would have known that Foggy had just ordered some O'Melvenies because he was listening to him when he did it.
Moving on to the last thing,
because I don't episodes you guys did, and you couldn't fucking keep your own shit together. Saviors of the series.
You're right.
We're gonna save it. It's all in good hands now, James. We're fine now. We got the smart guys on it.
The people that came in to save it couldn't even keep their own storyline correct. Which leads me to the last piece of the episode so they in something, finally he does something smart where he doesn't go in because he's going to get cooked, right? Like, he's going to go in 1 on 10,000 and he's not going to survive. They leave.
God.
They go to the bar. And we need an army, right? Pop the doors open. And in what is the easiest fucking callback, like the easiest, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist should have been sitting there.
Right. Dude,
we need an army. I'm at the bar. You kick the door open, and it's just normal people. It's the bartender and the chief, like his guy that's mad at him from his firm. And I'm like, you couldn't even, like, that's it. That's the easiest scene. Easiest.
And in that scene, I hate to be the sleaze bag here. I hate to sound like a studio executive. But if memory serves, it was a little bit blurry anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't actually need to hire. You didn't need to pay the real actors. Like you could have just put a
Yellow
raven-haired woman in
Yep.
a leather jacket and Terry Crews in a yellow T-shirt, and we'd be like,
One of
"Oh,
them's back to you. One of them, like it's easy.
yeah, you could." That was so unfulfilling that they would do that again to the same point as before. Why would you not use the opportunity
Because the
to
rumors are
show
they're coming
other
back,
heroes?
right? Like the rumor again, they just refuse to show other heroes in Daredevil show, which really runs contrary to what we say a lot. But they needed them for the story. Like they actually fit the story, and they needed them.
Right. That's what's so frustrating about it. Is like you'll do it every other time when it doesn't serve the story, but the one time
Yeah, and
that it makes sense.
you're right there. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that door. There was nobody in that room outside of just normal people, and he finally does like correctly by the story. He's like, I can't take this on by myself. We're gonna need the city against him, right? Like city's turning. Like you got to fight, get the city on your side. But then you just leave out the other heroes of Hell's Kitchen, which if you were going to leave them out of the show, like quasi retcon it, right? They just weren't a part, like you just weren't going to acknowledge them. Whatever, cool. The rumor is they're coming back, and all of them are coming back. So there was your chance.
They
Easy.
also reference Luke Cage, I think, in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like they make references to them,
I
and
guarantee
it
like
could have been a cool moment.
you can get those guys like, and like you said, you could have done it without them. Pretty easy to do it without them. Just correctly angling them, lighting, right? It's foggy. There's people smoking in there. It's pretty simple. If you wanted them, it wouldn't have taken a day to shoot. Wouldn't take that long to shoot. It's pretty simple. Like get it all set up, fly them in one time, bang out.
Yep.
I mean, they did it for the chicken shawarma scene with the Avengers. They brought all those guys back to film that scene.
Yeah, and
it's a little bit longer than that, but it's not much longer.
exactly, and it could have
Walk
been
him in, film him, turn the camera, gives his little speech. Done.
Create a lot of great memes, though. I will say I love all of the photo edits people did where they put different.
I didn't see him. Did they put him in
different
there?
heroes? Yeah. So,
I did
well, it
not see that.
started as you would expect with the Defenders, and then people just started having fun and started putting, Goku in there and just whoever. Just
I gotta look this shit up. I didn't know that.
It's fun.
Other things, Fisk squishing Gallo's head was kind of funny, but kind of weird.
Jumps the shark a little bit there.
Yeah, I think it went a little too. Like, I know, I get it. He's got super-ish strength now. It's been shown in the other shows he was in, Hawkeye being the main one. But
just very, very brash. I know he's the boss, but you don't kill the police commissioner in front of 20 cops. It's very, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very on the nose too. You can see it in all their faces. They're like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like
why would we do that?
I thought he was going to get killed when he got in the car. When he got in the car with a different driver that was Punisher, I just thought, okay, easy, done, kill him off screen, right? I thought that was it. Instead, they take him there. I thought that was way too on the nose, right?
Yeah, killing him in front of the cops was too much, and it's
whether they're bad cops or
very
good cops,
stupid thing to do.
Yeah, like, and I guess it's probably going to be used against him now, right? Like that's why they do it. It's just a little
at some point, So it gives people a reason to doubt and think, oh wow, this guy's taking it too far.
Yep.
And it's not. I mean, again, 10 minutes before that, he discreetly asked Buck to take care of Daredevil.
Yeah,
the Daredevil, mind you, who can probably do a lot more damage to Kingpin than a semi-retired police commissioner would be able to accomplish, and yet the levels of discretion applied are night and day. So again, it's just like, why is everybody so goddamn inconsistent?
I found it odd that they were going to kill Daredevil with a lethal injection, right? I was like, why wouldn't he just walk in and fucking shoot him, and then get the lights are off, everybody's scrambling, send a fucking mask guy and shoot him, and then he's fucking. I guess there's probably you wanted to die from the wounds, right? Is probably why they did it, right? Like he succumbed to his wounds.
That would have made sense, and that's what I gave them at first. Was like, because then like it's the Harvey Dent situation. If a lawyer who fought for the people and after the white tiger situation has won over the love of the common man, if that guy dies protecting your mayor from a vigilante, then that really serves the narrative, and then he
Yeah.
becomes somebody that Kingpin can now use that guy's credibility, use Matt
Yeah.
Murdock's credibility to
Take him
boost
off the board to
himself,
use his credibility, yeah.
which would have made sense if, again, a few scenes later, he didn't rip someone's face into
Yeah.
thirds in front of 20 other people. So, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
So once that happens, James, I'm right back with you. I'm like, well, why didn't he just have him shoot him? Because
Yeah.
clearly optics don't matter if you're going to murder a guy
Yeah.
in cold blood. And then your cover story is that he retired, he abandoned that. Like, you're not even going to go
Yeah.
with something a little more plausible. You're going to say he just quit. You're not going to
Yeah.
say I fired it or what. It's very dumb, very short-sighted,
Just
and
yeah, just
not very consistent. Scene over scene.
yeah. Which is unfortunate. We're all very excited for the show to be back. And when they reshot it and they did all that, they should have just trashed it all and started anew. And just took the time, delayed it. It's unfortunate. That's the best way. Like, I can't even say you can't give it it was not very good. Like, just no payoffs for storylines. Like you said, characters contradicting themselves left and right in the same episodes, even at times, just like this with Kingpin. The actors did a fantastic job. Let's call that out. Like,
yeah,
they do they do such great jobs with Kingpin, with Daredevil, Punisher, down the list. They do great. You can tell they wanted to be back in these roles. They fucking care. And I just think they deserve better. From a storytelling side, they deserve better.
Yeah, agreed. And now my, I guess, final question for you would be, do you think they're going to get better? Because a lot of people, potentially rightfully so, have called out that the difficulty it would be to take someone else's show and reconfigure it. So there is I won't say a consensus, but a lot of the feedback that I have seen from other channels has been people addressing some of the stuff that we've just addressed. Probably everybody's touched all of it somewhere, probably not all at once, but they always follow that with, well, the right people are in charge now, and there was better stuff in those 3 episodes than in the other 6. So now that they'll get 9 episodes to do it all their way and see the rest of their vision through. I've seen a lot of people say season 2 is going to be awesome. It'll all be great by the time it's all done. How do you feel? Do you agree?
I just can't get my hope up, right? Like, they're still the guys that were in charge of fixing this mess, and they didn't fix it very well. So I'm just supposed to blindly have faith in them. And also, we just talked about Kingpin contradicting himself in one episode that they were in charge of, right?
Yeah, it's not just the last guys making mistakes.
So, do I want to see these characters again? Yes. Do I want to see if they can pull it off? Yes. Right. Like, I spent a lot of time with these characters for the Netflix series. I'm glad they got their shot at it again. It does feel like a mid-season finale. Does it give me hope that they get it all themselves now? No, absolutely not. No. Not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just like, we'll see. Like, I'm gonna watch it. Like, I'm gonna finish it. I love these characters.
Yeah.
Do I think they're gonna stick the landing? Nope.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you.
Can't tell they do it. I can't. You know,
it's a Disney-wide issue at this point. I think
it really is, man.
Some of this show's failures seeped into our other live stream yesterday. By the time you all are watching this, about Star Wars Celebration, where it's like, y'all can announce all this shit you want at this point. How you can expect me to get excited about any of it is a great question, because how many times do you have to feed me a lemon lime popsicle that's actually just frozen piss before I start saying, you know what, I don't think I want any more ice cream from you?
What was your comment? Burn me once, shame on you. Burn me 37 times, shame on myself.
Yeah, like, at what point do I just have to say, I'm not falling for your grift again? Every single time I allow a Disney-owned property to convince me that this one will be good, with very few exceptions,
Mhm.
it has been
One-off
a
exceptions.
complete failure. And that one exception I have a hard time giving to because it was Andor, which had been out for over a year, I think, by the time we watched it for our show. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like Disney sold me on the hype. I completely ignored that show
You did.
until we started
Yep.
doing a Star Wars show. So it wasn't that. So again, anytime I have actually fallen for the marketing, I
Mhm.
have been nothing but let down.
Yeah,
From
you're right. Like, I watched Andor when it happened because I knew about it, but you waited. And you're right. Like, again, Andor wasn't some very hyped show when it came out. It was kind of like they're making a show about the assistant character, like the number 2 guy in Rogue One, like the ancillary character. That's the guy. And they had to prove him wrong, and they did. And Tony Gilroy deserves all the credit in the world for what they did. And but again, yeah, like there's just been so many misfires across Marvel and Star Wars right now. For if you're anything other than outside of Star Wars animation, anything other than we'll see, it's on you. Shame on you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, at this point, you're only asking for it
Yeah,
if you
which
allow
will be me. I'm
yourself
going to
to
be the
be
one that gets burned by it. That's fine. That's fine.
surprised.
Any final words, Kev? Do we get it all? Did you get everything out?
I think we got everything. Yes, that hits all of the notes that I
Mhm.
had for the show. So, of course, we will knuckle it out and get through season 2 when it inevitably is released.
Yeah, I
But
don't know if there's a release date timeline on it. I don't know if it's been filmed anything yet. So I assume
take your time,
2026,
boys.
but yeah, get it right.
Yeah,
Get it
just it's
right.
okay. It's all right.
Find a way to bring Foggy back. Oh, we were wrong. Let's admit where we were wrong. We both said Foggy was alive. We
Yep. So far,
currently in
so
canon,
far
we're
we're
still
incorrect.
wrong. Currently, we
Yep.
are incorrect. So let's admit our faults. Where we fucked up too. We suck sometimes too. Not as much, but
It's very interesting that they put. I love an Easter egg to divert you, right? Like they
yep,
put that 468 there, and there's a good reason why
yeah.
everybody said, "Oh my
Check out.
God, Secret Life of Foggy Nelson!" Like
Yep.
that had to be like that would be quite a coincidence. Like that'd be
Mhm.
like the levels of somebody naming a star and you just pointing up to the sky and actually like, oh yeah, that star right there. Like those are the odds of
Yep.
that just
Mhm.
being a pure coincidence. So
Correct.
I have to
We
think
still
that
stand by it. Just we're officially wrong as of right now.
yeah, if they did it, what a
So
swerve. What a
yep. Go check out last episode if you want to understand what is it 468, the 468 reference.
yep.
If you want to go hear what that is about. We covered that last week. So thank you guys for listening. This is our review of Daredevil Born Again, season 1, aka the first half of season 1 in my books. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share. We are on our way to 165. We are one away at the moment. Kev, outside of here, where can they find you at, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at KevinEvic_. Other than that, gang, just make sure you have those notifications on because our streaming schedule is a little different in the immediate future. Thank you to our good friends over at Disney Plus for that. So we'll be covering Andor.
Mm-hmm.
And no, other than that, just if you want to know what I'm up to, follow me on Twitter and I'll post about it. But James,
He'll post
when
a lot about
can
the
they
Colts
find
this
us
week,
here?
folks.
Yeah.
You can catch us here at a different time, as Kev mentioned, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Han Shot First, giving ourselves an extra day, usually on Wednesdays, to watch 3 episodes of Andor because they're pretty much mini movies. So we got to give ourselves a little more time because unfortunately, me and Kev still have day jobs. Maybe Kev someday. Maybe someday. And then Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern on the Weekly Dweeb, where we talk about our favorite entertainment stories of the week. So, again, thank you guys for watching. This is our Daredevil Born Again Season 1 review. Until next time.